Hello, this is Lynn with Stitch to New, and welcome back to our videos. I'm so glad to have you here today. So today we're working on week 3 of the Fat Quarter Shop's Boo to You Mystery Quilt Along. So this week we've got a cute little ghost that we're going to be working through, and he's so cute. I don't know how quick he's going to be this week, but it looks like we're only working with 3 fabrics this week. And one of those is the ghost, one's the background, and one for his eyes. Or her eyes, maybe, since I'm working with my pinks and oranges for my project. So let's get started, and I'll show you what we're working on this, or how we're working through this week. So as I was saying, this week we only need 3 colors. We need our background fabric, which we've already picked out. We need to pick the body of our ghost, and then we need one more fabric for our eyes. So I've been sorting through my fabrics. You'll see them there, a little bit to the side there. And I think I've come up with a color combination I really like. So last week we chose our background. It's this black Boo fabric. And let's see, that is from David Textiles. Then I've got the regular fabric I've been working on. I want to use this beautiful pink and oranges for my ghost body. That's from Kitty Loves Candy. And this is the Trick or Treat colorway. And then also from that same line, I'm going to do her eyes in this bright pink. I think that'll give it a nice pop of color. So the first thing we need to do is get all of our pieces cut out. So let me get started with that. First step, it says we're going to take fabric D, which is our 2.5 inch squares, and fabric I, which is our 2.5 by 7.5 inch rectangles, which we were just talking about. It's going to go in this direction so that my pumpkins are facing up and they're going in a horizontal line. And then I'm going to take letter D, which are my squares of the background. And according to the directions, we're going to draw a line from corner to corner on the back and then line them up. First one, we're going to line up on the left side, and then we're going to sew from the top right to the bottom left. And you guys know I use my trusty tape here to help me line up, so that I don't have to draw the lines. So I'm going to line up that top right corner with my needle. Let me get my thread straight here. And then I'm going to line up that bottom corner with the red line, which is the line that's even with my needle. And I'm going to draw, sew a straight line. There's my sewn line. Now, I'm going to double check. If I flip this over, everything should be even. And we see it's not. See, I was scooting off the edge just a little bit there. So I'm going to take my handy jack, take it out, and try this again. All right, let's try this one more time. Get everything lined up nice and even. You see, I didn't panic when I didn't have it all nice and even. I'm just going to make sure this time I've got everything all lined up nice and even. And we're going to do it again. Get the thread out of there. All right, let's try it again. Oh, there we go. Much, much better. Much, much better. Okay, now we're going to do the same side, same thing for the right side. I'm going to line this up on the right side. And this time we're going to go from the top left to the bottom right. All right, let's try it out. All looking pretty good. So I'm going to finger press, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut 1/4 inch away. Go ahead and trim that thread while I'm at it. And then I will press those out. And that's our first step. So for right now, I'm just going to put that here. I'll do my pressing all at once. All right. Next step. Oh, we get to assemble the eyeball unit. So we need both of our J pieces. They will go on either side. And see, I need my pumpkins facing up. The J's are on the outside. I need 2 of the M's. Oh, my eyeball pieces. I'm looking for the black. I've confused myself. I've got my 2 hot pink eyeball pieces. And these, the caps were kind of tossed on the fabric, so there's not a right up or down. I'm just going to make it look. So let's see. That cap is facing up, so I'm going to leave him facing up. But if he was facing down, it would be fine too. But I like him facing up. All right. And then we need L. That one is 1.5 by 2.5, and it goes right there in the middle. So that's what that piece should look like together. So I'm going to sew each one of these together. There we go. We've got that piece completed. Let me take that one and press it. And for this one, since the eyes are the darker part on the back, I'm going to press those seams toward that pink fabric since it's the darker. All right, here's that piece. Nice and pressed. Press them towards the darker color. And while I was there, we noticed last week on the sheets, it tells you what size. So this one should finish at 2.5 by 7.5. So while I was there, I double checked. My piece is at 7.5 inches, and it's at 2.5 inches wide. So I am good with this one. So I'm going to set this one to the side, and we're ready for the next step. Got to flip the page. Let's see. Oh, we're back to drawing lines. And we're going to work with fabric H and fabric A. It looks like we're making some half square triangles. So this one we're going to do a little bit different because we're wanting to get 2 of these. So let me get H. And we're going to flip those right sides together. And I'm going to flip it to the lighter side so you can see. So with this one, they want you to draw the line right down the center, and then you're going to draw 1/4 inch on either side. And again, I've got my handy dandy tape here. So what I'm going to do, instead of lining my points up with that center red line to go right down the center, I'm going to line it up on the black line to the right and sew it down. That's going to give me 1/4 inch away because that 1/4 inch is going to be on my red line. Then I'm going to run it through again and move it to the black line on the left, and it'll go down the red line on the right side, and it will all work out. So let's sew that down. And you'll see I've got a stitch line on either side of my point. So I've got 2 half square triangles. So now I can cut in the center. And that makes those half square triangles that I was trying to get. So I will take those over and press those open. Okay, there are those half square triangles. Now I want to double check so I can make sure that my pumpkins are going in the right direction. So when I'm looking at my diagram, I see that one of my arms, these are going to be the ghost arms, one's going this way, and the other one, let's see, is going this way. Nope, this way. And I see that for this one, on the right side of my ghost, my pumpkins are going in the wrong direction. No big deal, because there's no way I could have sewn these two with this directional fabric and gotten pumpkins going in the right direction. So what I did is I cut another 2.5 inch square of my pumpkins, and instead of it going this way, I'm going to have it go this way. So I'm going to take this piece and cut it apart. All right, Mr. Jack, let's rip this open. Okay, so I know this pumpkin piece is the wrong direction, so I'm just going to set it to the side. This piece, I want it to look like this when I'm done. So I'm going to lay this. So when I sew my seam there and open it up, my pumpkins will be in the right direction. I want to double check. So I'm going to line these up here. When I open it up, my pumpkins will be in the right direction. All right, let me make sure everything's nice and square. And then I'm going to sew that seam. Okay, I was looking at that one more time. Our finished square, once we've squared it up, after we've trimmed it, is 2.5 inches. I needed to go back. Letter H was a 3-inch square. That's why my things weren't lining up so good. So, same thing. Got my 3-inch square. So I want my pumpkins to go that direction. So I'm going to line up corner to corner. Oh yeah, that one fits much better. And then I'm going to sew that 1/4-inch seam. And I'm going to line up the tips of my square there to sew this through. Just like that. And then if I open it, there we go. My pumpkins are facing the right direction. Now, I'm going to take both of these over. I'm going to take this one over and press it. I'm going to trim off this extra here. So I'm going to go, there we go, both, oops, you can see, both my pumpkins are facing the right direction. I'm going to go press this one, and then I'm going to trim both of these to 2.5 inches. All right, both pieces trimmed to 2.5 inches, pressed the seam to the dark side. Now I'm going to double check one more time before I move on. So I need one. So when I put it into place, see, it goes right there. It looks like that, and the pumpkins will be up. And for his right side, it'll look like this, and my pumpkins are facing straight up. So, if you're using a directional fabric, you're going to have to make 2 different half square triangles to make that look correctly. Alright, so let's set those to the side. And now we're ready for our next step. Alright, so we're using L and F. Let me grab those. Alright, we've got our L piece and we've got our F piece. And we're going to take it and we're going to line F right side together with L. And we're going to, you can draw a line across the back of F, but I'm going to sew from top right to bottom left for this piece. Okay, for this one, instead of starting at that top right tip, I'm going to flip this upside down and sew from that bottom left to the top right so that I'm not dealing with that itty bitty little point starting out. Here we go. So you'll see I've got the same sewn, oop, you can see. So I've got the same sewn line from the top right to the bottom left. It's just I turned it upside down to sew it. So I'm not putting that little tip through the sewing machine first. So when I fold it over, there we go. All lined up. So I'll trim those extra threads. I'll trim that off to our 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And for just a moment, I'm going to set that to the side because we got some more of these pieces we're going to do, and I will press them all at the same time. So our next piece, we're going to take the letter K, and we're going to get some more of these F pieces. We need 2 more. And we're going to do one on either side. So I'm going to flip them right sides together. I'm lining up with the right side, and my pumpkins are going up. And I'm going to sew from top left to bottom right. And again, I'm going to turn my piece upside down so that I'm starting in the middle of the fabric, not at that point. There we go. Flip it over. See, we've gone from the top right to the bottom left. Fold it out. Check. Oh, that's lining up pretty good. I'll trim that one. Alright, we've got one more piece in this section. So I'm going to wait and do that one, and then I'll press all of those at once. So I need another one of those L sections and our last F section. I'm going to do this last step here at the bottom. We're going to line our background fabric right sides together with that L. We're going to sew from top left to bottom right. Again, I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm starting in the middle. We want to do that because if we take this itty bitty little tip and sew it through, sometimes our machine just wants to kind of eat that or send it down into the feed dogs. So this just makes it a little bit easier so it doesn't do that. All right, and again, flip it over and see we've gone from the top left to the bottom right. Flip it open. Oh, that one lines up good too. So I'm going to trim that one to a 1/4 inch away. And I'll try to catch these threads as I do that. There we go. So now we've got all 3 pieces in this section sewn. I'm going to take them over and press them, and I'll show you how these are going to go together when we come back. Okay, all 3 pieces pressed. Press them all to the dark so that the black doesn't shade behind my pale pumpkins. And I double checked each one to make sure the 2 left and right pieces are at 1.5 by 2.5, And then our center piece finished at 1.5 by 3.5. So I checked those while I was over pressing too. So now we get to put them together and make what's going to be this bottom part of our ghost. So we need our left piece, our center, and our right piece. And that's how those will go together. So let's sew those. There's our bottom piece. I'm going to take press, measure, and make sure this one should finish at 1.5 by 7.5. So I will press and measure and make sure this one's correct. There we go. I did need to trim just a sliver off of both ends to make it exactly 7.5. But I'm so happy with how my points turned out there. Okay, so that's our last piece. That's our last section to sew together before we can actually start putting our ghost together. So let's pull it over here and let's see how we're going to put this together. So let me move all my pins. All right, so here we go. We start with this top piece we did. Then we need our eyeballs. Then we're going to do our big body piece. And then we'll have our bottom piece here. Ooh, looking good so far. All right, so we need to sew each of these sections together before we move on. All right, there's the center of our ghost. Now double check. All my pumpkins are facing straight up and down. So let me take this over and press it, and then we'll add our side pieces. All right, there's our ghost center put together. And I double checked. Ooh, got a string there. I double checked. My center is 7.5 by 11.5. So that's exactly where we're supposed to be right now. And I'm so excited. Look at these points. I'm very happy with those. All right, now we're ready to assemble our side pieces. So we're going to take our C pieces, go right here, and then here come those little arm pieces that we were trying to make sure they were arranged just right. Let's see, this one's going to go on this side. Nope. This side, there we go. And this one on this side. There's our little arms. Then our B pieces are going to go down here. All right, so let me get the side pieces sewn together. All right, there's our side pieces together. Let me go give them a good press, and then we'll sew them to the body. All right, here's our ghost. And we have one more seam, and we're finished with this section. So I have this one piece that goes across the top here. There is our ghost. Let me take him and give her a good press. And then I'll meet you back here. Oh, we can look at this one and last week's together and see how they look together. All right, here's our ghost. I'm so tickled with my ghost. She's looking mighty pretty. And here's our block from last week. I'm loving how these are looking together. As you guys know, I still need to remake block 1 because I made mine into a wall hanging. But I'm really loving how these are going together. I need to get that first block remade, and next week will be the last week, week 4. I don't know if there's a 5th week where they'll put them all together, but I'm still excited to see what's going on. I'm loving how this is going together. I even think this one would also be great to do as just a wall hanging by itself. And I'm loving my pinks and oranges together. So thank you guys so much for joining Lady Girl and I today as we work through block 3, the Fat Quarter Shop Boo to You Mystery Quilt Along. And as always, please give us a like and a subscribe. It really does mean a lot to our small channel. We're really growing, at least as far as I know. We're up to 130 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And if you'd like to see more of this, like I said, give us a like and subscribe. Give us a comment if there's something that you've got a question about or something else you'd like to know. And down in the description will be some links for like the tape and some other supplies that you guys have seen me using. So if you'd like to check those out, like I said, down below in the description. So this is what I got to do today. What will you get to do today? I hope it's something really cool.